Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Afiq bin Zaini. I am from JBC 2423A. For this task of assignment, our group gonna explain about chapter 3. So me, myself gonna explain more about bimetallism. Okay, we go to the introduction of bimetallism. Definition of bimetallism is a monetary system in which a government recognizes coins composed of both gold or silver as legal tender. Basically, bimetallism is a monetary standard in which the value of monetary unit is defined as equivalent to certain quantities of two metal, which is typically gold and also the silver, creating a fixed rate of exchange between them. Okay, next we go to the history of bimetallism. According to world history, bimetallism was very popular during the early and late 18th. Other scholars claim that in a practice, bimetallism had stabilizing effect on economies, which is at that time people in the world not recognize paper money and coin as the part of the exchange between item. They use silver and also gold to exchange item that they want. For example, if the people want to buy a vegetable or fish in the market, they use gold or silver in order to take the item as the exchange. So for in the Malaysian history also have the bimetallism history, which is before independence, around 18, Malacca already used all gold and silver as the payment system in their economy. Okay, after we learn about the history of bimetallism and also the definition of bimetallism, we go through to the advantages and disadvantages of bimetallism, which is I go first with the advantages of bimetallism. The first one is the price stability. The internal one's level was linked with the prices of gold and silver, and the price of gold and silver depended upon their supply and also their demand. It means that fall in the price of silver was compensated by rise in the price of gold. We go through to the second one, which is the encouragement to foreign trade. Bimetallism encourage foreign trade in two ways, which is the first one is due to the exchange stability between countries, and the second one is a country on bimetallism could have trade relation with any country on bimetallism and on silver or gold standard. Okay, enough with the advantages of bimetallism. We go through to the advantages of bimetallism. I take one example that why we can say bimetallism is not very good for the economy, which is the operation of Gresham laws. When there are these divergence between the mean ratio and the market ratio, the Graham laws would operate and bimetallism will break down. According to this law, cheap money drive out dear money, or bad money drive out good money. If silver become cheaper, people use this as a medium of exchange and handed out or melted gold coins, with the result that gold coins disappear from the market.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Ibrahim Hanafi bin Muhammad Noman, and today I will continue the presentation about the classical gold standard. The classical gold standard occurred during the 1875 until the 1914. The gold standard was a system which nearly all countries fixed their value of their currency in terms of the specific amount of gold. Under this gold standard also, the country money supply was linked to the gold. There are two-way convertibility between gold and their national currency at a stable ratio. As there was no restriction, the gold could be freely export and import to one country to another country. As each currency was fixed in terms of gold, the exchange rate between the participant currency were also fixed. For the example here, we can see if $100 is pledged to the 1 ounce of gold, and 15 British pound is pledged to the 1 ounce of gold. So it means that the exchange rates are determined by the relative of gold content. Thus, the exchange rate during that time is $100 will equal to the 50 pound because of their relativeness to the gold standard. A country that the balance of payment that will deficit, they will experience the outflow of gold, and otherwise which if the country experience or running a surplus balance of payment, they will experience the inflow of gold. They will attempt to return to the pure classical gold standard after the interwar, but none of them will survive after the 1930s. This is due to the many of the people during that time got killed during the war, during the World War I and the World War II. I think that's all for the classical gold.
Okay, now I want to talk about interwar from 1915 to 1944. Okay, firstly, as the case of the wars, government suspended the gold standard during the World War I to increase the money supply and pay for the war. Secondly, the US returned to the gold standard in 1919, and others European countries and Japan reinstated the gold parity a couple years later. Considering the limited gold supply of the early 1920s, the European countries and